people just have if you live with a disability, you can't. I don't know where the can't comes into disability, but you can't do things for yourself. Okay, my name is Tshepo Seboko. 34 years of turning 34 this year. I'm a photographer and a videographer. I'm a facilitator, a disability activist. And what an interesting fact about me is that my sister is my best friend.
That's nice.
My name is Rhulani Baloyi. I'm a journalist. I work as a news editor at SABC. One thing interesting about me is that I'm not scared of darkness, so sharing doesn't really bother me if it happens after dinner.
That could be your question.
Rules. There are 4 components that make up the game. The contestants, a really cool color wheel, the dips, and the star ingredient, lesonja. Hi! The contestants will ask each other a series of questions. Should they fail to answer a question, they'll be required to spin the color wheel and dip the star ingredient, hi, in the dip that corresponds to the color on the wheel. Oh! Happy dipping! Round 1.
Which character was that? Is it never to choose?
Oh, Mom Agnes. I loved visiting very much.
Did you not pick the tissue?
That's my even finish that.
No, someone told me this thing. I know someone told you.
Okay, I wonder who's picking this.
Round 2.
My next question to you. Yizo season 1. Who played Papa Action?
The first Papa Action. Who was the first Papa Action? Because
You tell us.
Zola was not the first Papa Action. What comes to my soul? I don't remember the first Papa Action.
And Zola was actually the first Papa Action.
Are you serious?
Yes, he was.
Oh, okay. It's like, what's wrong with
Yeah, spin the wheel and
Spin the wheel.
They said that.
Blue.
Blue. It's the Evo and chili.
It's the Evo egg
That's
chili.
right.
That's not a
chili,
thing.
very chili.
It's peri peri.
You give it to me.
Can I find the sponsor? Never done this before. An interesting fact, you have a Sonja family, my son is disabled.
So,
And I'm eating my own now.
It tastes like a snack type of thing. You can eat them alone or with something. Yeah.
Wow.
How was it?
Oh, shoot.
Right.
Being that you are in the media industry, deep benefit inside, and how have you found it that you get things easier, or do you have to push as hard as anyone else?
I have to push and to get those opportunities. If you and I had to go, for example, for an ad, for a casting for an ad, chances are they will consider you because people still invest in things like eye contact, facial expressions. They will say no, people must see your face, giving us what we want. You know what I mean? People still invest in what they believe in. And people realize that it's actually not difficult to include a person who's blind in the media industry. But there's an over-investment in certain things that they think we cannot do.
In the normal.
I mean, the fact that I put in my CV, I know that I don't want to be treated like a charity case. It means I really want the opportunities. Yes, I know what I'm capable of. I'm an economically active member of the South African society. In Darky, you told Darky magazine that you do corporate tours.
Yes.
And you focus mostly on inclusivity for people with disabilities. Have you ever come to a point where in your life you felt like you were excluded because of your disability?
Many a times. Hence, I doing the work that I'm doing, going out and being a figure, to drive social change, aside from the corporate and whatever other change, but just the social change and people's view to say, hey, I'm living with a disability, but I can do X, Y, and Z. So that's the fire that burns in me.
How do you think companies can best assist people who are differently able?
Firstly, infrastructure. I won't lie. Firstly, infrastructure is a big problem because you get to a public space that doesn't cater for you, and I end up asking myself, like, am I not part of the public? Or like, what does this mean? We need to cater spaces for people with disabilities, including them in how we design the spaces firstly, because you can't organize or design a building for me when I'm not there. And when I get there, there's a stair. It would have been easier if I was there. I mean, someone has built a ramp. I've seen at the school that I was facilitating, they had a ramp, but the ramp was so steep I couldn't get up there. You get me? They had the right idea, but the execution not on point.
Yeah.
So I just think corporates need to include people with disabilities in them hiring, in them trying to accommodate them. They just need to include them, not have them as the final product where they're just coming in and now they have to try and sort out things for them.
Exactly.
Round 3.
On the comedy show Streaks, which role did Temba now play?
I forgot.
Please spin the color wheel.
Yes, you're spinning.
Okay. I need to move it to the left.
Yeah,
It is on blue.
it's on blue.
Someone said Masonja.
Basonja and chili, please.
And, okay, then I'll hand it to you.
Where's the
Here's the sonjas. You can just pick one there, and then I'll give you. Just pick one, and I'll give you.
Okay.
Which pick the smallest one there. And then we go.
Really nice. Not too bad.
Not too bad.
The one time I had a mini fight with some guy at the mall because I drive. So I'm getting my wheelchair in my car and I'm very comfortable. I'm playing my music, I'm chill. This guy comes there and he's like, should I help you? I'm like, no, I'm fine. So I look away. When I turn back, he has the wheelchair in his hand. I'm like, my guy. Like a full on fit, like my guy, you're not doing this. Sharp, you are asking if you can help me. I'm saying no. I'm not saying no because I can do it. You can stand there and watch me, it's fine. I don't have a problem with that. You can stand there and watch me do it. But people just have if you live with a disability, you can't. I don't know whether can't comes into disability, but you can't do things for yourself.
But the thing is, the problem is that people who they speak from a position of privilege because they are privileged. They can walk or they can drive, they can go anywhere they want without asking anyone, and they don't think that tomorrow they could lose their sight, tomorrow they could have to use a wheelchair, and they don't know how people are going to treat them. It is people who think my life is a better life. Other people got what is left. In South Africa, we're very good at discussing racial discrimination. We're very good discussing class discrimination and gender discrimination. But people are not fighting for people with disabilities, and they discriminate against us everywhere. In the shops, in the banks. Now they're introducing this debit machines which do not even have a button. It's just a touch screen where you have to move.
Yeah.
I mean, guys,
and it doesn't have the sounds anymore.
No, it doesn't have the. You can't touch and say this is a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So it's just glass. Yes, it's digital, and they don't think that there are people who are blind. Society is going forward, but there's a lot of us who are left behind.
Round 4.
Okay, my question to you is, Ubabu Henry Cele, which character did he play in one of the famous first TV dramas?
Yeah, that TV drama traumatized me a bit. I tell you why. Henry Cele played Shaka Zulu. Yes. So when I was young, I was still very young at that time, and I didn't want to quit the bottle. So they used to threaten me that going to because it was very dark and we looked scared. So they used to literally threaten me and so if you don't leave the bottle, we're gonna call that man for you. And I actually quit the bottle because of it. That's my thing. Do you feel that special school and the transition to the tertiary and work life creates a big gap between people with disabilities and just your, I don't know what to call it.
I will talk for myself. I went to a school for blind and partially learners. But then, when I went to university, I had to transition. My first year buddies, people that I was at risk with, they had to learn also to live with me. It wasn't just me learning, they had to learn. So it was for me, it was an eye-opener to the world of everyone. But for me, what would work? If you're going to say to a blind child, you are going to put them in a school with Tshepo, in the same class with Tshepo, there must be teachers who can learn Braille. A lot of young people struggle to be able to spell because they've never had the experience of reading and writing properly. It is a long conversation. We cannot say tomorrow we're going to close all the schools for people with disabilities and get everyone to be integrated. We need to think through and the impact of what we do.
Because I've always wondered, for me when I see the bus, like these kids they never socialize with anyone, it's very awkward for the other kids to play with them because they don't know where they should help them, and then the parents also hide them and stuff like that. So I feel even now that the social part is also plays a big part in people's confidence.
We still have a lot of teaching to do, a lot of social integration, especially among young people. Young people, they struggle with each other without disabilities. Then there is a young person who's gonna come with confidence like me, you in grade 10, you're trying to get yourself to be included, but people don't want to be included with you. People don't want to do group discussion or homework with you because you're blind. They don't trust you. They think maybe you will need them to help you with more work. And it's one of those demeaning things when people assume you need more help than you actually need.
Yes.
And people must ask.
Yes, people don't ask, they assume. Actually, they do that so often.
And it's time that we have to start calling people out.
I do.
Yes, and we have to start calling people out, and we have to start calling big business out. And maybe we hope one day that they will be given space to play in the same battleground where other kids are playing. So, thank you very much.
Just to level the playing field.
Yeah, no.